From the nation's capital, Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce. A weekly discussion about the federal issues most important to Nevada. And now, from Washington, D.C., here's Marilee Joyce.
Well, good day to you. I'm Marilee Joyce, and this is Eye on Washington, the only statewide Nevada news program produced in Washington, D.C. Every week, Eye on Washington takes you straight to Capitol Hill for a discussion with Nevada's delegation and other leaders about the federal matters that matter to you. Today's topic, why a critical minerals bill is critical to American job creation and American competitiveness. We'll tell you about legislation designed to protect America and put you to work. My guests today are Nevada U.S. Congressman Mark Amodei and our very special guest, Mr. Quinn, the President and CEO of the National Mining Association. Thank you both for being here today.
Thanks, Marilee.
Thank you, Marilee.
Well, my guest, Mr. Quinn, has called it one of the most important pieces of federal mining legislation in many years. And today on Eye on Washington, we'll tell you about Congressman Amodei's efforts to fix our outdated and underperforming mine permitting system. We'll tell you why my guests say streamlining the process would lead to job growth. And we'll find out about the enormous demand for minerals and metals mined in Nevada and why the state's considered a national leader in mineral production. America is home to an estimated $6.2 trillion worth of key mineral resources, and these minerals play an invaluable role in enhancing our quality of life. They power the economy and strengthen our national security. But according to the National Mining Association, our ability to secure these critical materials is threatened by an outdated permitting process and regulations that can delay critical investments for years. But if our Congressman Amodei has his way, the days of the U.S. as ranking dead last for permitting delays are over. His National Strategic and Critical Minerals Production Act would facilitate a timely permitting process for mineral exploration and mine development projects. Currently, it can take up to 15 years for agencies to issue permits to allow mineral mining work to begin. The bill would limit the total review process for issuing permits to 30 months. And in a statement about his bill, the congressman said, quote, duplicative regulations, bureaucratic inefficiency, and lack of coordination between federal agencies are threatening the economic recovery of my home state and jeopardizing our national security. And Congressman, first of all, congratulations, the House Resource Committee, on the passage of your bill. I want to start with this. How is it harming America to have such a slow and outdated mine permitting process?
Well, because capital for these projects, which creates jobs, goes to other countries, because minerals that we need either for healthcare products, strategic defense, balance of trade, manufacturing computers, lithium for batteries for cell phones, all those sorts of things are available within this country, but are presently being purchased from some of our main competitors, China for one, in order to support our manufacturing and needs processes in the nation, and there's no reason for it.
You know, Mr. Quinn, you were on Eye on Washington just last year talking about this very thing, and you had grave concerns that Nevada and other mining states are really losing the edge and underperforming the rest of the world in the development of its mineral resources. You said that the snail-paced permitting process is the number one reason why.
It is. We have a world-class resource base here in the United States, and Nevada is a key part of that in terms of its mineral resources. But we have a third world permitting system, and as the congressman just pointed out, investment capital is very mobile. So if somebody's confronting a decision where to put several $100 billion as their initial investment in a large mining project, they're going to look at how long does it take me to get all the authorizations. If it takes me 2 years to go to Australia, Chile, or somewhere else, and it's taking me 7 to 10 years in the United States, that makes a big difference about where the investment goes.
Well, Congressman, exactly. You know, last year when Mr. Quinn was on my show, he said we're lagging countries like Australia and Canada, and they're just really outpacing us. And again, it's because they don't have the regulations, the same problems here.
You know, Marilee, when you boil the issue down this bill, it is providing some certainty and some predictability to the time. It doesn't say you get a yes for your application. It says you have 30 months to process it and let both sides agree more. So it's like, go through the NEPA process, be mindful of the environment, do all the things you do, but you've got to give people some sort of limit on how long this is going to take. 2.5 years is our proposal.
And as we're wrapping up this segment, if you would really zero in again on this on how this bill affects our economy. This cumbersome permitting process, investment is just not as attractive in this country. Is that correct?
Well, it's not attractive when you don't know if or when you'll get a permit. So even if the answer is no in a short amount of time, then at least you know what the problem is and where to go to next, as opposed to just endless delay and delay and delay, where, as Hal has said, we can go to another country in 2 years and know what the deal is.
And that's your biggest concern, correct?
Oh, absolutely. And we have a world-class resource base, a highly skilled, safe, productive workforce, a great mine-to-market infrastructure for producing and delivering the minerals. So those are our advantages. What's holding us back is in large part some of this regulatory uncertainty, the permitting delays, and we rank dead last in terms of everybody's analysis. And it's not just us. Department of Defense, Department of Energy, National Academy of Sciences have all examined this issue and repeatedly said we need to do something. We can do better.
All right, and just ahead, why less red tape in the mine permitting process equals more green in your pocket. We'll look at the connection between the Congressman's bill and job creation right after this.
Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce is brought to you by the National Mining Association, Caesars Entertainment, NV Energy, the Las Vegas Sands Corporation, the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, Station Casinos, the Nevada Mining Association, the Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County, Skyline Restaurant and Casino, and by Rogich Communications Group.
America's minerals have made us a nation of self-reliant dreamers, shaping our world and the endless ways we enjoy it. But red tape often forces us to import more than half the minerals we depend on. Minerals we already have. We don't import our dreams. Shouldn't that go for our minerals too? The National Mining Association. Learn more at NMA.org.
Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce is Nevada's top source of federal news on television and on radio. But if you want even more Nevada-focused news from Washington, you need to subscribe to our Nevada's Washington Watch newsletter. Nevada's Washington Watch is the only publication that links Nevadans to Capitol Hill. Like our Eye on Washington program, Nevada's Washington Watch keeps you in the know on all the top federal issues that impact you, your family, and your business. Subscribe today at joycecommunications.com. That's joycecommunications.com.
Having your child hospitalized can be a terrifying experience for any parent. In one moment, everything can change. Here at the Reno Ronald McDonald House, we can help. We keep families together when it matters the most by providing a home away from home for families with children in the hospital. Parents who stay at the Ronald McDonald House have more time with their children during the healing process. Please contact us today for more information and to see how you can help. Donate online at rmhc-reno.org.
Hey, it's embarrassing to be tackled by someone smaller than me. I look weak and effeminate, so now I'm overcompensating.
I'd also be very ashamed by that. I'm not waiting until it happens to me to make you feel small.
My dad taught me to be the alpha male, so now I'm gonna knock a tray out of your hands at lunch.
Kids bully for all kinds of reasons. None of them are good. Know your kids' friends and monitor their social networking. Find more tips at flipthescriptnow.org.
And welcome back to Eye on Washington, our discussion of the big mining bill that aims to make the nation stronger and safer. We've been visiting with Nevada U.S. Congressman Mark Amodei and our special guest, Mr. Hal Quinn, President and CEO of the National Mining Association. So why is the Congressman's National Strategic and Critical Minerals Production Act so important, not only to the National Mining Association and the industry, but also to Nevada and the nation? Well, let's look at the two standout words in its name, strategic and critical. Minerals and mined materials are the raw ingredients needed in high-tech manufacturing, renewable energy products, and to support American energy infrastructure. Critical and strategic minerals are fundamental components of technologies and everyday items, ranging from cell phones, computers, solar panels, wind turbines, building materials, and motor vehicles to personal hygiene products and office supplies. Right now, as we said, not only is the U.S. lagging other countries in mineral production, we're also reliant primarily on China for many of the critical and strategic minerals we could be producing right here at home. My guests want you to understand what we're talking here. jobs, and national security. We've discussed the issue of dependence on foreign energy previously on Eye on Washington. Well, my guests want you to see this in a similar way, understanding that America's reliance on foreign critical and strategic minerals weakens national security and sends billions of dollars of good-paying jobs overseas. And Congressman, your bill would lead to more efficiency in developing minerals, those rare earth elements, that you say are vital to job creation, American competitiveness. Tell us more about now the bill's impact on employment overall and the obvious effect on the economy.
Well, Marilee, I guess you start out with the average wage facts for the mining industry in this country. They pay an excellent living wage. They pay excellent benefits. There are communities that they're in and around are ones that have strong property tax support bases, all the things that you want in terms of responsible members of your community in the private sector. They can afford to live in their communities. They have their own health care. They can afford their deductible. All the things that we're talking about in other areas at this point in time. So it's like, why wouldn't we want those jobs in this country when it's a smart thing to do?
Mr. Quinn, in a speech you made to the House Resources Subcommittee on Energy and Mineral Resources last spring, you said this. You said, quote, "Demand for minerals point to enormous growth and job creation opportunities if U.S. mining is allowed to perform to its potential." Now, you want that if to become reality, and you think this bill is a big step toward getting to it, don't you?
Yeah, thank you for emphasizing the if, because that's the big question. And yes, the Congressman's legislation will make a big difference, because the more secure our investments would be with regulatory certainty and timelines and at least a decision point, the more certain investments will come to the United States to take advantage of the world-class resource we have. Just think about, just as the Congressman talked about, down the supply chain, we're producing about $77 billion worth of minerals here in the United States. That's processed into about $700 billion of intermediate product, and that translates into over $2.5 trillion of finished product, which is 15% of our GDP. So the more we can capture here in the United States of supply security, and then pass that down the supply chain, then our GDP and jobs grow considerably. There's a lot of lift there.
Congressman, who's opposed to this bill? What?
Well, there are some concerns from people that they think.
It makes so much sense to
listen
to
there's
both
people that say, "Hey, this is getting rid of the NEPA process, concerned about environmental things," which I find very interesting. Nothing is repealed in NEPA. It merely says that at the request of the applicant, you will set a 30-month schedule for how you're going to go about whether you do an environmental assessment, an environmental impact statement, if necessary. So it requires you to sit there and go through the calendar and say, "Here's where we'll be in 30 months." I find it ironic that they're concerned about public participation in 2.5 years, and just recently the administration has said, well, if you happen to be in the solar energy business, we're removing mining and all these other things from large tracts in the West, and we're not even going to give you the benefit of public input. This preserves 2.5 years of public input and process. I think, Marilee, the major unreported thing is it provides a much-needed tool to federal land managers to deal with all parties and say, we have a time limit here.
Excellent. Mr. Quinn, I want to, as we're wrapping up this segment, obviously the goal is for this to pass. I'd like you to tell our audience, what is it going to mean to U.S. mining and indeed the U.S. economy if we don't improve the permitting process, if this bill does not pass?
Well, we'll see a continuing decline in our mineral security. We're already twice as dependent on imports today as we were 20 years ago. Investment in exploration for new resources is, as a matter of a percentage of the global share of money spent, is diminishing in the United States. So what happens is it's not just the mining jobs, which are, as the Congressman said, high-paying jobs. They're 80% higher than the average private salary and benefits nationwide. But it's the jobs downstream in terms of the users of these minerals, the high-tech industries, whether you're in Silicon Valley or whether you're in the Mississippi Valley or Illinois growing agriculture, you need the agricultural minerals. If you're in Pittsburgh, you need the iron, you need the molybdenum for steel. So it affects everybody, and the more secure supply chains we have, then the more secure people's jobs will be and more jobs we can create.
And speaking of needing minerals, just ahead, did you know that minerals literally make life? We're going to explain that to you right after this.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit NMA.org, the National Mining Association.
Help Nevada Humane Society save the lives of orphan kittens by becoming a foster care volunteer. Over 2,000 kittens a year need temporary care.
These kittens need food and personal attention until they're old enough for adoption. Foster care is fun, rewarding, and truly saves lives.
I love fostering. I have fostered almost 50 kittens so far, and it is so rewarding.
If you can foster kittens for a few weeks, we can find them homes for life. To learn how you can become a foster care volunteer, call or visit Nevada Humane Society.
My dad's one of the producers who was there tonight. Bring this one.
Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce is Nevada's top source of federal news on television and on radio. But if you want even more Nevada-focused news from Washington, you need to subscribe to our Nevada's Washington Watch newsletter. Nevada's Washington Watch is the only publication that links Nevadans to Capitol Hill. Like our Eye on Washington program, Nevada's Washington Watch keeps you in the know on all the top federal issues that impact you, your family, and your business. Subscribe today at joycecommunications.com. That's joycecommunications.com.
All of us at Caesars Entertainment have something we want to say.
Play responsibly.
Play responsibly. We don't want you to gamble if you've had too much to drink.
You shouldn't gamble if you're lonely or depressed.
And if you're under 21, you're not allowed to play.
No, no, no.
No matter which of our casinos you come to, our message is always the same.
Play responsibly.
Play responsibly.
Play responsibly. We know you're coming to our casinos to have a good time, and we always want you to leave feeling like you did.
America's minerals have made us a nation of self-reliant dreamers, shaping our world and the endless ways we enjoy it. But red tape often forces us to import more than half the minerals we depend on. Minerals we already have. We don't import our dreams. Shouldn't that go for our minerals too? The National Mining Association. Learn more at NMA.org.
Welcome back to Eye on Washington, our discussion of the huge role minerals and mined metals play in your life, as well as legislation aimed at keeping the U.S. the world's mineral production leader. We've been visiting with Nevada U.S. Congressman Mark Amodei and Hal Quinn, the president and CEO of the National Mining Association. If you happen to be eating an Oreo cookie while watching or listening to Eye on Washington today, you can thank a miner. The titanium dioxide that makes Oreo cookie filling extra white, it's just one of the dozens of mineral materials offered by our Earth. So many of those minerals are mined right in the great silver state of Nevada. According to the Nevada Mining Association, over the course of a lifetime, every American baby born will need 1,390 pounds of copper, 1,279 ounces of gold, more than 20,000 pounds of clays, nearly 30,000 pounds of salt, and about 65,000 pounds of cement. That doesn't scratch the surface, no pun intended, of the minerals mined in Nevada. The state gives us, say, dolomite, used in nutritional additives, for example, and lead, lots of things like TV glass our viewers are watching us on right now. Lithium is helpful in powering up your, is helping to power up your computer. Silver, did you know it's needed for photography, and there is zinc in your electrical fuses and in your roof gutter. Congressman, that's just a tiny sample of the variety of minerals and metals from Nevada, and I think we should mention gold, since Nevada's a pretty big leader in our country.
There's some of that. I like the cookie segment myself. I'm interested in learning more about that.
I was worried about you being a little bit hungry, but we have a lot of metals and minerals that Nevada not only should be proud of, but should be excited that the whole world needs, don't we?
Well, and that's just the beginning, as Hal has alluded to. Once you produce those, extract those minerals, then it supports the manufacturing process in this country, which multiplies jobs, multiplies the economy, helps with balance of trade, all that stuff. So it really is, that saying, if it isn't grown, it has to be mined. It kind of covers it.
You know, and Mr. Quinn, the National Association, National Mining Association, does work overtime to help folks on Congress and in our nation understand how crucial minerals are to life. And in fact, the NMA just relaunched its mineralsmakelife.org, which is the online side of your Minerals Make Life initiative. Tell us a little about that, would you?
Well, Marilee, thanks for the recognition of our team. They do work overtime, but we also need ambassadors like the congressman to communicate with his colleagues about connecting the dots, as we like to say, just as you have in terms of your opening of this segment. But Minerals Make Life is really built on the whole principle of raising awareness about how minerals plays such an integral role in everybody's individual life and betterment of society overall in terms of our economic prosperity. And so, you know, we have a website. We can go to the NMA website at www.nma.org and push on the Minerals Make Life icon, or go directly to mineralsmakelife.org and get access to all the information you'll need to, on minerals and how it affects your everyday life.
Yeah, and I've the online version and the whole site. It really is something to see. And again, my audience is encouraged to check out mineralsmakelife.org for interesting facts on minerals and mineral policy issues. Congressman, you know, this effort by the NMA to educate Americans on how mineral production impact growth, manufacturing, global competitiveness, it reminds me of the partnership between you and Mr. Quinn. And I know you're not only friends, but mining colleagues and partners, and sort of getting out the important information to Nevadans and, importantly, to members of Congress who might not understand components of your bill. You mentioned the NEPA stuff, etc. How do the two of you work together?
Well, I think the challenge for both of us is this is not asking for a favor or a special. It's like, listen, if you have the objective facts, we think they speak for themselves. The challenge for us is to make sure that people have those facts, connect those dots, if you will, for, you know, what this industry does in your community, what it does to support the manufacturing community, what it does for strategic stuff. A lot of it in healthcare applications, as you mentioned. It's like, listen, this is a good thing. We should choose to go forward with this responsibly. The old cliches of somehow this is bad for the environment are simply that, a cliche. The objective facts support letting this go forward in a responsible manner.
Mr. Quinn, back to the partnership part of that. I know you're working together on this bill, but tell us kind of more in general, how do you work with Congressman Amodei and the rest of the Nevada delegation in helping keep the mining industry strong here on the Hill?
Well, we try to provide them with the latest up-to-date information that you know, makes a difference in terms of the public policies they'll be debating and acting on. Clearly, I'd have to say we don't need to spend as much time with the Nevada delegation, and certainly not Congressman Amodei, who's been in the business, as we do other delegations, but it's certainly helpful to work with them to understand how to communicate with their colleagues. And they obviously have the credibility with their colleagues, and they give us good advice and direction about how to message to some of their colleagues on what might be important to them or on their mind in terms of our objectives.
I guess another way to put it would be the partnership between the two of you to educate those who need that education.
Yep.
There's quite the partnership between you and the whole delegation supportive of mining in the industry.
Well, I guess, Marilee, people don't express it this directly, but it's like, listen, there's a lot of pride in the industry, and rightfully so. So the challenge is how to present that in a way that's, listen, that there should be a lot of pride in the industry. We've done some great things for the country.
And just ahead, the look ahead. What else my guests say must be done to keep mining strong? That's right after this.
When it comes to state-of-the-art energy, Nevada is the right state to be in. A reliable, efficient network. Cleaner energy resources like solar, wind, and geothermal. And technology that will help you save energy and money at home. Learn more at nvenergy.com.
Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce is Nevada's top source of federal news on television and on radio. But if you want even more Nevada-focused news from Washington, you need to subscribe to our Nevada's Washington Watch newsletter. Nevada's Washington Watch is the only publication that links Nevadans to Capitol Hill. Like our Eye on Washington program, Nevada's Washington Watch keeps you in the know on all the top federal issues that impact you, your family, and your business. Subscribe today at joycecommunications.com. That's joycecommunications.com.
day, thousands of people in northern Nevada don't get enough to eat. 1 out of 5 children in northern Nevada go to bed hungry every night. But you can do something about it. Catholic Community Services of Northern Nevada has been providing help and creating hope in our community for more than 65 years. By donating food, time, or money, you can make a difference in a hungry person's life. When you make your generous donation to St. Vincent's Dining Room and St. Vincent's Food Pantry, you're helping to fight the scourge of hunger in northern Nevada. In these tough economic times, now more than ever, we need to help those less fortunate. To find out how you can donate to St. Vincent's Dining Room and St. Vincent's Food Pantry, call, click, or stop by, and together we can end hunger in northern Nevada.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit NMA.org, the National Mining Association.
We're back with our closing segment of Eye on Washington show on the importance of minerals to your life and a piece of legislation that aims to make it a lot easier for this nation to lead the way in mineral production. We've been visiting with Nevada U.S. Congressman Mark Amodei and Hal Quinn, the President and CEO of the National Mining Association. Mr. Quinn, as you focus beyond this bill, in the hopes that it's going to pass just fine, what else is important to the Mining Association?
Well, the first thing would be, Marilee, is that if it gets through the House, which we expect, because it's passed, previous versions passed with bipartisan support last year, we need to have the Senate move on a similar bill, something that removes these impediments. But this bill really kind of sets the table about what our needs are in the industry, which is regulatory certainty, and there's a considerable amount of issues that we need to address in terms of changing of the rules in midstream after we've invested hundreds of millions of dollars. We need some certainty to secure our investments. So we want to improve our performance, whether it be in safety, environment, but we also need to have some ground rules that have some durability to them so we can plan on them. And then tax policy is another area, both at the state and federal level, that we always want to keep our eye on. We need a balance there to make sure that our cost structures remain competitive.
Congressman, as we close out today's show, some folks watching or listening today I'm not a miner, I don't work for a mining company. Why is this important to me? You've made clear everyone is a miner, sort of. Everyone's affected by the mining industry and by minerals and metals in their life, right?
Yep. I mean, you look at the products, like I said, many of the applications in the healthcare industry. As a guy who's getting older, and you talk about 20% of the economy is going to be in healthcare, that's a big deal. You talk about tech, whether it's your iPhone, your iPod, your computer, you know, that's a huge deal. So when you talk about all that stuff, nobody can outmine the people in America, but you have to give them a regulatory environment where they know what the rules are, they know how to plan for it, and they can proceed and go get them from there.
Good luck on the bill. Thanks for being here today. That does wrap up this week's Eye on Washington. Be sure to join us next time as we discuss more important federal matters and their impact on you in Nevada. Visit joycecommunications.com or our Facebook page for more of the very latest from the Hill that impacts your life. And you can follow me on Twitter. You can watch us on YouTube. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Marilee Joyce in Washington. Good day.